Hi everyone, my name is Chimdima and I am a current international student here in Canada. I've been in Canada for 3 years now and I share content that are related to students, especially students' life in Canada and studying in Canada in general. A few months ago, I talked about my first part-time job here in Canada, and that video, to my surprise, has the most views on my channel and so many comments and questions on it. Instead, I decided to make a video about my student job, what it feels like working and studying, also because I just have so many videos of myself working and I want to share these videos with you all. So with that being said, I'm going to be showing you what a day in my life looks like in both of my student jobs on campus, and I'm also going to be telling you how I got those jobs and how you can also apply for jobs like that. I'll also be answering questions like how to apply for jobs as a student. I'm going to be sharing places or platforms or websites that you can use when applying for a job, and I'm also going to be sharing some tips or advice at the end, so make sure you stay to the end. My day-to-day activities in this job involve responding to students' inquiries or questions via email, speaking to them in person in the office, answering phone calls and chatting online. I also perform other assigned tasks that are given to me by my supervisors, and this is very convenient for me because it saves me time on commuting. Unlike when I used to work at the restaurant, I have to commute somewhere I live all the way to my workplace, and now that class is going back in person, it was just going to be difficult for me commuting for over 1 hour. And I also get to do other stuff like my assignments and also study while I'm there when students don't really come in and I don't have anybody to talk to. The second job I have on campus is a work-study position. The work-study is a program at my school which provides eligible undergraduate students, both domestic students and international students, with the opportunity to develop professional skills and contribute to the university through paid on-campus employment opportunities. This allows students to develop skills like leadership, mentoring, and peer support within the university settings. The title of my job or my position is Academic Peer Support Assistant, and honestly, I'm still wrapping my head around my roles and my responsibilities for this job because I only just began this role last month. But basically what I do is that I assist one of the academic advisors in the faculty. I assist the advisor who specifically helps international students or exchange students. Okay, now that you've seen what a typical day in my jobs look like, I'm going to be telling you about how I applied for these jobs and how I got them. Then I'm going to talk about how you can also do it. Experience is different for everybody. For some people it was just like a simple step, they just applied and got their position. But mine, so one of my goals this year was to get a work-study position in school. and I felt like I had the experiences because I've been volunteering in school, volunteering with my faculty, volunteering with the International Students Organization, just basically volunteering to improve my leadership skills. So I went on my school's website when they were doing the whole recruiting process. Like there's this period in like March, April where they start hiring for the next school year. So I applied for so many positions. I really applied for a lot of them. I did my resume to fit the job I was applying for. I wrote cover letters upon cover letters and I applied. And the funny thing was that I really did have the experience in India because majority of them invited me for an interview. Unlike in previous years, invited for interviews, but I messed up, bro. I messed up my interview, so I got rejected for all of them. And the annoying thing was that they all came back to back. Like today I'll get this email, thank you for applying, but unfortunately blah 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 blah. Tomorrow I'll get on that email, unfortunately you were not selected. Tomorrow I'll get on that. It was so depressing. Like everybody was just rejecting me. I felt like I was not good enough, honestly. It really made me feel bad. I told myself I was going to stop all my volunteering activities and just focus on my studies. But I never gave up. I kept on applying. So after the whole recruitment process had gone, and it was like August period when I already finished hiring for the next school year, I just saw on the Instagram that they're hiring part-time positions. At that point I thought it was a work study position, so immediately I went there to apply. I went on the website. I saw so many positions they were hiring for, and the job I got, this one I got as an office staff, was the last one I applied for. I honestly didn't want to apply for this one because it didn't seem like something I would be able to do. Office staff, I have to talk to people. Like I was like, okay, let me just try this office staff. The other positions, but I knew I wasn't up to the task, so like graphics, and I don't know much about design. I wanted to go to my level, so I said let me just try for the office staff one. I sent in my resume, I made my cover letter, I sent it in, and before I knew it, they invited me for an interview. I took it as okay, another interview I'll go in and fail as usual. A few days later I got a call telling me, oh congratulations, you got the position, blah 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 blah. I was like, oh my god. I didn't say it to them obviously, but like, oh my god, seriously? So yeah, I got the position. I was so happy, I was so thrilled. But I thought it was a work study position, but it wasn't a work study position. But I mean, it's still a job on campus, so I was still grateful to God for helping me to get a job on campus. So for the second job, I don't even know when I applied for this job, but the job posting was on my school's website, so I would say probably was when, after I got rejected by all those other job postings, I tried to apply for more. I just sent in my resume, cover letter, filled the whole form. That was just it. And it was like in October. Later in October I got an email. I thought it was fake because honestly I've almost been scammed before. So I was like, God, what is this? Let me just ignore it. But then don't worry, your spirit is telling you don't ignore something, just try it. I told myself I'm going to try it. The last they'll do is reject me as usual, and it's not a new thing, I'm used to it. So I went for the interview. I even went earlier. I went at like 3:45. My interview was for 4:30 p.m. At the end of the interview, she told me she wants to hire me. She asked me to put down a name as a referee. Is it referee or reference? Like someone she can reach out to ask about me. So this way I'm going to talk about experience and volunteering. According to her, the reason why she hired me was because she saw that I was a peer mentor in my faculty. She felt I would be able to do academic advising as well. So I'll say one way to build a resume is to volunteer, especially if you have no prior experience like me. If you're coming straight from secondary school like me, I mean in Nigeria, secondary school, the only experience we'll have is being a prefect or being the head of a club. You need to see my resume. Jesus, my resume was like a blank paper. If I can find it, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. My resume was just my name, my phone number, my email address, my education. I even had the audacity to put my secondary school education. Like, who needs that? But I put it. I put my bachelor's degree I'm pursuing. Then I under experience because I I assist my mom in our pharmacy sometimes, like to take stock. I put there stock taking. Then achievements, I put, oh, I was the health prefect when I was in secondary school. I got involved in a research because my first year I participated in a research. I was like the participants, they were experimenting on me. What did I put? I was the class representative multiple times throughout my secondary school. Like, who needs all those things? So I didn't have any experience basically. If you see my resume now, I'm not bragging, no, but even me, when I see my resume, I'm like, is this really your handwork? Because volunteering exposes you to so many opportunities. You get to work on yourself, you get to build leadership skills. Like for me, I would say my communication skills have improved from when I first came to Canada. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is how you could find jobs like this, or jobs in general to apply for. Best way would be social networks and connections, especially if the person is working in that particular job, because they get to hear when there's opening in the job, when they're hiring, and they can refer you and tell them, oh, you're a good person. They can speak to your qualities, speak to your abilities. And then this girl I met during my orientation in my first year, we're in the same programs and everything. I met her, we became friends, we switched numbers. That's why I made her my friend, and she was the one who helped me get my position, my first job, because she was a manager at that restaurant. The girl was very hardworking, so they felt like if she could refer me, it means I'm also hardworking. Another way would be through job postings, both online and in person. Job postings can be online or in person. For example, around on campus, there's some job postings on campus. You can just see them on different walls on campus. But those ones, I'll be skeptical about those ones because I don't know if they are fake or not. No students can just be playing tricks on other students and putting job postings. Like I saw one time, they were like, get paid $30 per hour. I'm like, can they this kind of jobs run away because they are not safe. Job postings on Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, LinkedIn. So basically LinkedIn is a top networking site. It's like a social media site, not site, it's a social media application, basically like Facebook, Instagram, but it's a networking site that allows you to find jobs, not only through direct employers listing, but also through communicating. You can make connections with people who are within your field, your area of study, even with your classmates, course-mates I connected with on LinkedIn. You can also save your resume on your profile. So basically it's a social media platform but for career, let me put it that way. You can also find jobs through companies' websites. Like for me, this part-time job I got, the second one, the work study one, I got it by applying through my school's website. So you can also apply through different companies' websites like Starbucks, Tim Hortons. Most people would rather just walk in and drop off their resume at a restaurant, because when you say Tim Hortons, for example, Tim Hortons restaurant, there are so many branches of Tim Hortons in Toronto alone. Toronto is like a city in Canada. Like the way we have in Nigeria now, we have Nigeria as a country, we have Abuja, we have Lagos. My memory card just got filled up, so I had to transfer the videos and start recording again. So let's talk about the application process. I've told you about where you can find jobs, job postings, websites, social networking with people to refer you. So in terms of how you can actually apply for these jobs, you need to have a resume, you need to have a cover letter, and you need to prepare for your interview if you get selected to that stage. So that's where things get very, very competitive. So first you have to create a resume, or as we'll call it in Nigeria, CV. So your resume should have a brief account of your experiences, your education. Always try to tailor your resume to the specific job you are applying for. I know you have so many experiences in the world, but you need to put in everything. In fact, some of the work study jobs I applied for, they usually say that your resume should be a maximum of 2 pages. So imagine to put all the experience you have in the world, it's going to be more than 2 pages. So try to tailor your experience to the specific job that you're applying for. For example, when I was applying for the academic peer support assistant work study position, I obviously put in things like peer mentoring, which was what my supervisor said she saw that made her invite me for an interview. I wouldn't put something like, oh, I was the content creator, the social media manager for this club, but it's not relevant for that position because the job description didn't state anything with social media. So you don't need to include the relevant fact, except you don't have experience in that role and you want to show that you have experience in other things, then you can put in something like that. And in terms of writing your resume, I would advise you use services that are available to you. If you have services available in your school, like in my school we have the career service called Career Center that helps us with resume writing, cover letter writing and interviewing. Personally, I never use them for resume or cover letter because I was okay writing them on my own, but I use them for my interview and they helped me a lot. If you don't have such service in your school, you can use online. I use online, just print on the internet how to write a resume samples. You can also use your Word documents. They have like cover letter or resume templates. Just go there, download the templates and just follow the example they use there. Then for interviews, I'm obviously not the best person to give you advice on interviews, seeing that I went for so many and I failed so many of them. But one thing I would say about interviews is that practice makes, not perfect, but practice makes progress. The more you go for it, the more you get exposed to interviewing and your chances of getting hired after your interview improves. I would say be careful about job offers. This is not Nigeria where they do 419 and all that, but still they still do yahoo. Those are real, and most people who fall victims of scammers are actually newcomers to Canada, like international students or immigrants. So be careful of the job offers. Don't be too quick and rush up to grab any role, any job. Be careful, question, make sure it is very authentic. So I would say believe in yourself, know that you can do it. Try to sell yourself out when you go for your interview. Don't doubt yourself. One thing I would like to add is that you should not be hard on yourself. I was hard on myself. I remember that period. It was like early this year, March, April, May period. I was in Nigeria at that time. I'm back calling my mom and I was like comparing myself to other people in my program who were already like work study students. Choose a place that's not far from where you live and far from your school, so you can easily commute to and through, especially when it's during the winter period. Commuting gets very difficult, especially when the TTC stops working because of the snow. Lastly, I'm going to tell you that it's going to take a while. I started applying in October for jobs, my first time getting that restaurant job, and I got my first job in January the next year. Then this work study position I started applying last year. I'm not going to lie. I eventually got them this year in August and in November. Some people, it might be easier for them, especially those who already have great leadership skills from back home. Those battery just died, so my camera is right here. Anyways, that's all from me for today. I hope you're able to learn something valuable and this video was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you smash that like button so that this video can be pushed out to others who might need it, and also share it to anyone who you feel might need this video. And don't forget to subscribe to get more videos related to student life in Canada and that I share my experience as an international student in Canada.